And on the show tonight, we'll be joined by actor Rishi Kapoor and director Anubhav Sinha on the success of their film Mulk, which makes a strong statement on Muslims and nationhood in India today. Well, in these polarizing times in India where Muslims are often being questioned about their patriotism, Anubhav Sinha's Mulk starring Rishi Kapoor has struck a big chord. The film is about a Muslim family and what they go through after losing a son who had turned into a terrorist. The film asks some strong questions about polarization and what nationalism really means. But on social media, of course, the trolls got into the act. Rohit Khilnani has more.
ये मेरा भी उतना ही घर है जितना कि आपका और अगर आप मेरी दाढ़ी और ओसामा बिन लादेन की दाढ़ी में फर्क नहीं कर पा रहे तो भी मुझे हक है मेरी सुन्नत निभाने का
Mulk, a film received with open arms by critics and audiences, but social media reactions were something else. The film got trolled by those who were not comfortable with uncomfortable questions, something which has not perturbed the filmmaker.
वो बेचारे बेरोजगार बच्चे हैं, उनको 5-5, 6-6 हज़ार रुपए में बिठाया गया है कमरों में. उनकी गलती नहीं है, उनको जॉब दे नहीं सकते हम. नेशन बिल्डिंग का जो तुमको गुट्टी पिलाई गई है वो झूठी है. तुमको नेशन बिल्डिंग नहीं कर रहे हो.
Taapsee Pannu, who plays a Hindu girl married into a Muslim family, says she was advised not to do this film.
आम देश प्रेमी कैसे फर्क करेगा दाढ़ी वाले अली मोहम्मद में और दाढ़ी वाले उस टेररिस्ट में? कैसे साबित करेंगे आप कि आप एक अच्छे मुसलमान हैं?
Before I signed, everyone, 90% of people said, don't do it, don't do it. Not just because of the topic, but also the fact that I was just coming out of Judwa too, and they were like, why do you want to do this? There's no big star value to it. And, matlab, you've done Pink, why do it, this kind of a genre again?
But why did you take up then?
If not me, then who?
The film has been banned in Pakistan. However, in India, the reactions have been positive. It has collected 8.16 crore in its first weekend, a boost for filmmakers who are planning to tap controversial issues. In Mumbai, Rohit Khilnani for NDTV.
And it's terrific to be joined this evening by Rishi Kapoor and Anubhav Sinha live from Mumbai. Thank you to both of you for joining us from Mumbai this evening. Anubhav Sinha, let me ask you first. Are you pleasantly surprised by the reactions that the film has gotten? And I mean the positive ones.
It's very pleasant, a little surprised because it's way more than what I thought it would be. It's overwhelming. People are writing pieces, like I have like 40-50 pieces written by some eminent people in the country. This is a surprise.
It's like a movement, you said.
Yeah, it's some sort of a movement, and from both communities, Initially when the trailer came out, there was this misconception that it's a pro-Muslim film to defend Muslims.
ये एक ताज्जुब चीज हुई निधि कि पता नहीं क्यों one community is probably still thinking it's against them. ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है. Actually, it's a very pro-Indian. It's an Indian film. It's a movement. It's just a very balanced film, and it says things in the right perspective.
But, Rishi Kapoor, I think the film is also important because it's come at a time when you see how polarized Indian society has become, and social media is a very clear example of that. Perhaps it's not representative of all Indians, but do you think that therefore the movie came at the right time? And this couldn't have been a better time than now?
Well, that may be so. It was not intentional. But the purpose of the film is to show it's a story which is very important today in our times. When Anubhav came to me to narrate the script, I thought it was very topical, and it was a voice that it must be heard today. A voice where all Indians should hear. We've had compliments. I mean, I've been showered with compliments saying various things, but the most touching thing was that people said that this film should be compulsory for all schools and colleges. Children from all schools and colleges must be shown this film. How we should live in harmony and peace, how we should be a real secular place to live in.
Anubhav Sinha, you have said in a previous interview that Mulk represents your version of nationalism. And I was very interested in what you said there, because we are also living in times where nationalism is often being confused with jingoism, and everyone is being asked to prove their patriotism and wear it on their sleeve, etc. Explain to me why you believe that this is your version of nationalism and why it was important to present this at this time.
Yeah, it is my version of nationalism is to love your countries, and when I say country, I mean people. It does not begin with the flag; it begins with people, and it goes all the way to the flag, respecting the flag which represents the nation. So it's more about people for me, and the film is about people from all communities in your neighborhood, loving them, standing up for them, being with them when they need you. Even if they make a mistake, you have to stand with them and help them correct it. That's what nationalism is about for me, and that's what this film is about.
And is that
Like for me, Mulk is just not a country or a nation.
Sure. Go
For
ahead.
me, Mulk is a big. For me, Mulk is basically the conscious of the people. How a country is made by its people. It's not just it's not just called Mulk. And for me, the conscious of people living in harmony is what Mulk is all about.
But you know, some would say, Rishi Kapoor and Anubhav Sinha, that it's brave to make a film like this in these times that we live in. Like I said earlier, how polarized things are. And let me ask you now about the trolling that the film got online. And Rishi Kapoor, did that bother you? The kind of social media comments and sort of the trolls who try to bring down the film's
I
ratings,
don't really
etc.
bother about. I don't really care about trolls. I don't know why so much importance is attached to them. I mean, you have to see the film's merit or demerit. You have to see what has been made. We never at the beginning told you that we're making a big blockbuster movie. We never told you we were challenging all the pot boilers. We never said this film is going to challenge Sanju's business. We have made a film in a very paltry amount of money and with full justice to the story and to the audiences who will see the film. And they will see in its merit and then decide for itself, is the film worth it or not. And I'm the happiest man today with all kinds of maybe critical acclaim also, maybe they have probably not liked my work, probably they have liked my work. Thank you very much for all the same, but it was a pleasure to work in a film like Mulk, and very seldom do we get an opportunity to do these kind of characters on screen.
But you know, I'm glad you say you don't care about what the trolls say. Anubhav Sinha, you've been pretty terrific at sort of hitting out at them and giving it back to them on Twitter, and you even wrote an open letter to them. And it's a long letter, but it's actually a really good letter. You talked about how they don't have a name or face. How much do you get? 3,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees? Look, I often joke that they probably get 10 rupees. But you obviously felt strong enough, seeing the kind of online comments that and the ratings being pushed down, etc., to pen a letter like this. Anubhav Sinha, tell us about that, what that was like for you.
I take it seriously only to the extent that I realize that it's X number of people sitting in a room, or maybe 10 rooms or 25 rooms, because the entire trolling happens by the same people, whereas the compliments are coming from new people every day. So obviously the love that's coming in is way, way larger than those limited number of people who are who can't deal with love. They can't deal with love, that's their problem, and I feel bad for them that this is what they have to do for a living. So I feel terrible for them, and I hope they get better jobs in their lives.
I've had some ministers and members of parliament also complimenting me for the film and for my work and Tapsi's work and your work, of course. And this has never happened with any film of mine, at least, or perhaps I never did any good work earlier. And various people from all walks of life. They have, if you go onto my timeline and you check it out, it's very amazing. All kinds of people have loved the film, and thank you for it. I have to thank you for it.
Okay, but I also have Anna Vetikard, who's a very well-known film critic and author, joining us here in the studio. And I just wanted to get Anna's perspective, as an expert and someone who looks at this. Why is Mulk so important for India at this time?
I think Mulk
Hello, Anna, how are you?
Hello, Rishi ji, how are you? And hi, Anubhav, how are you? First of all, I have to say, I think that Mulk is important because it's a beautiful film. It's important, secondly, because it's a beautiful film that is also courageous. If it was only politically courageous, then that would not have been enough, because you know, you would have ended up preaching to the converted. People don't go to a film to listen to a seminar, they don't go to a film to listen to a panel discussion. If even those intelligent audiences who want an intelligent point to be made through a film want a beautiful story that is well told. So it's extremely important that a film that is as courageous as Mulk is also a film that is an interesting, entertaining, captivating story. The second point is, you see, this film is not just about the Muslim community or the marginalization of a family because one of the members of the family is caught indulging in terror activities. What is extremely important to me, and I think this is what's outstanding about Mulk, is that it chooses to look at terrorism beyond the confines of the socially accepted definitions. In our country just now, and in fact across the world, terrorism has come to mean acts of violence by members of minority communities. Now, across the world, mostly, that definition now means violence by the Muslim community. But in America, for instance, if white supremacists indulge in violence against blacks, it's called hate crime. In India, when the Hindu majority fundamentalists are going around lynching Muslims on suspicions of consuming beef, it is called vigilantism. People write, journalists and the members of the public say things like Bajrang Dal activists.
Are doing what? What did they do yesterday and today?
Bajrang Dal activists.
But
how can you say
I understand
activists?
what you're saying.
So this is the courage
Which is
of
why
Mulk.
I want to ask Anubhav Sinha that was there a political message in your film? Was there even a subconscious attempt to do that?
No, I don't think so.
No, political, not in terms of political parties.
We never started out there.
Everything is political.
Everything is on human level. We wanted to make a human film.
You've seen the film. I mean, there's not even a single political character in the film. It's about a neighborhood and it's about a court case. That's all.
May I just make a point here?
Yeah. Anna, and then I'll get last comment.
Yeah, because you know, the word political these days is used in the public then very literally to mean BJP, Congress, Aam Aadmi Party, Communist Party. In that sense, it's not about party politics, but a lot of people say this is not a political film because they mean it's not party politics. But I would say, and I must disagree on that point with Rishi ji and Anubhav, I think this is a deeply political film because politics is about, this is about the politics of marginalization, the politics of exclusion, the politics of majoritarianism. This is a film that has the courage to not pander to the minority, and yet it does make a huge point to defend the minority. It does not pander to any community. Which is why I want to ask, but it is political.
Yeah, but Rishi Kapoor, therefore, wouldn't you say the timing then does make it a very significant film? Because when you see things happening around you, when you hear about lynchings, when you hear about you know, those incidents and a sense of insecurity in the Muslim community, doesn't that make a film like this even more important?
Nidhi and Anna, I want to say, firstly, and I'm repeating this, it's a very human film. When I heard the script, and I was careful that there should be no political overtures in the film. And when I found that there was none whatsoever, there was no character, I agreed to do the film because I didn't want to sermonize. I'm not trying to stand on a pedestal and you know, voice myself over anything. I, as an actor, chose to be part of this film because I thought it was a story worth saying, and people will see the film. And what do you say about this? What do you say about the Kavadia attack which happened yesterday? There's also one form of terrorism, whatever you're doing. I have said that in one scene of mine in the dialogue कि किसी को एक जगह चिल्ला के बैठाना वो भी तो एक act of terrorism है.
But you know,
that's
to
brave
answer
of you
your question,
to say that. I have to say that's quite brave of you to say that on national TV.
The answer of
because you realize, you know, the kind of reactions, you know, saying that would evoke, Rishi Kapoor. I mean, you know, good for you for saying it, to say what you think. You know, Anubhav Sinha, my question.
Well, I'm talking about my film. I am saying about my film.
So, Anubhav Sinha, was this film also for you shaped by your own experiences? I was reading about your background. You've talked about how you have grown up in times where, you've seen Hindu-Muslim riots in front of your eyes. How much of this script had to do with your own experiences, growing up?
All of it. It is rooted in my past. It's rooted in the disharmony that I have seen around me when I was growing up, and it is taken shape in times when certain headlines in the newspapers were extremely disturbing. And I wanted to respond to the timing part of it, Nidhi.
Sure.
The film was conceived in April last year, 2017. So obviously one did not know what will be the scenario at this point when we released the film. And like Anna rightly said, it's not an apolitical film, of course not. It does not deal with party politics, it deals with social politics for sure.
And so, Rishi Kapoor, last question to both of you. I know you both have to go. Rishi Kapoor, if there was one message you would give to people to take away from this movie, what would it be?
But live in harmony, peace. I mean, that's what the film is talking about. It's talking about telling all the communities to live in peace. That's what it is. And it's just a courtroom drama which solves that. And I know people, who are so happy with this kind of a film and that message.
Anubhav Sinha, would you say it's something like that? But when you go
Sometimes
online, when you
people.
look at our politics, Anubhav Sinha, you realize that asking for peace and asking for communities to live in peace, asking for political parties to live in peace is so difficult in today's times. What would you say? If you have to say something to anyone about this film today, Anubhav Sinha, what would it be, and to who and why?
No, it's not difficult to talk about peace. I am talking about peace and I'm facing some wrath from some people, but that's okay. Most of the people are giving me so much love. We are just celebrating the happiness that we've got from the film. And a lot of my colleagues and directors and actors have said, Anubhav, I want to come give you a hug. That's way important to me, way more important to me than anyone else, anything else. So it's not difficult. When I felt like saying something, I did say it. And to people, what I want to say is that it doesn't matter whether you're a Hindu or a Muslim. Go watch this film. It's a love story between Hindus and Muslims.
Well, I think
एक चीज समझ नहीं आती, जब हम शांति और प्यार मोहब्बत की बातें करते हैं तो लोग गुस्सा क्यों होते हैं उससे?
आजकल लोगों में बहुत गुस्सा है, ऋषि जी।
हमने एक तस्वीर बनाई है, एक फिल्म मतलब तस्वीर बनाई है, पेश की है हमने ये तो गुस्सा जब मैं पैदा हुआ था तब से लोग गुस्सा हैं, और ये तो पता नहीं कब तक गुस्सा रहेंगे। हम तो अपनी तरफ से, अपनी तस्वीर की तरफ से, अपनी फिल्म के जरिए कुछ ना कुछ तो कोशिश कर ही है ना समाज के लिए।
But we thank you for that. It's great that you were able to make a movie like this, and it's really very, very timely that it has come at this time. So thank you to both of you. I know you have to go. Thank you to both of you for joining us, and congratulations on the great feedback.
Thank you, Nidhi.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to ask you one question. Have you seen the film?
Yes, and it's a terrific film. It is a very, very good film. So thank you for making it. Thank you for making it.
Thank you, Nidhi.
Thank you.
All right, I'm letting them go, but I do want to ask.
Bye-bye.
I do want to continue to ask Anna just one final question. A film like Mulk has come also at a time when we've seen the Hindi film industry actually try to chart a braver course when it comes to, I think, films that talk about Muslim identity, etc. Do you think that trend has started happening, whether it's with some of Shah Rukh Khan's films, etc., that they are trying to make a statement now about Muslim identity, nationhood, etc., and that's a good thing?
I think that it's interesting that films like this film, Mulk, Razi, have come at a time when, surprisingly, there are divisions showing up within the Hindi film industry, and there are certain members of the industry who are very much, pandering to the Narendra Modi government and sucking up to a certain kind of right-wing politics because they feel it will pay them dividends at the box office. Yet from this era is emerging a film that's as gutsy as Mulk. It is a really gutsy film, a film like Razi. But I think what is also equally important is, and yes, as you said, some of Shah Rukh's films, what's equally important is that we need to get to a space where we have Muslim characters in films and it's not a big deal. As in, you know, your Muslim friend, my Muslim colleague, and there are some communities that have completely disappeared from the Hindi film industry. Dalits, you never see them. Or you'll see, we have a Sairat that was remade recently as Dhadak, and they have so diluted the point about caste because they're afraid to talk about caste. But otherwise, Dalits have disappeared. The Christian community has disappeared. People from the northeastern states absolutely don't exist. So in Hindi cinema, and Hindi cinema is disgraceful in this respect in comparison with Marathi, Malayalam, Tamil, Kannada, which are far more representative of the cultural diversity of our country. We need to get to a space where having a a person from Meghalaya or a Christian or a Sikh or a Muslim character
it should be the most
film,
normal thing in the
it should
world.
be normal, so that you and I as commentators don't even need to notice, because minorities deserve to be represented because they exist, not simply to make a point.
And they are very much as Indian as anyone else, which is often something that they are told they are not. Sometimes subtly, sometimes not so much. Anna, thanks very much for coming in tonight.